What if the chaos in your mind is a reflection of the clutter around you? What if peace isn't something you find out there, but something revealed when you remove what's unnecessary? And what if the life you dream of, calm, focused, joyful, is waiting just on the other side of too much? We live in a world overflowing with things. Our homes, our schedules, even our minds are packed tight with noise, objects, and distractions. Every surface is filled, every moment spoken for. We've been told that happiness comes from accumulation, more money, more possessions, more success, more stimulation. But the truth is, every more comes with a cost, and that cost is peace. The more we fill our lives, the less room we leave for stillness, clarity, and meaning. Minimalism isn't about living with nothing. It's about making space for everything that truly matters, the moments, the people, the presence that clutter keeps hidden. Think about the last time you cleaned out a drawer or a closet. For a moment, it wasn't just your space that felt lighter, your whole body did. That's because the things we own aren't just physical, they carry energy. Each item represents a tiny decision, a memory, a responsibility. When we have too much, we fragment our attention and scatter our calm. But when we start to let go, we begin to breathe again. Minimalism is the process of aligning your external world with your internal peace. It's not about austerity, it's about intention. It's the art of keeping only what serves you and releasing what weighs you down. In a minimalist home, there's space between things. You can feel air and light move freely. You can see surfaces again. There's a quiet beauty in that simplicity. It's not emptiness, it's clarity. Every object that remains has a reason to be there. It adds value, function, or joy. And the same applies to your mind. When your environment is free of clutter, your brain stops trying to process excess information. Studies have shown that clutter increases cortisol, the stress hormone, and makes it harder to focus. But when you live simply, your thoughts settle. You begin to think more clearly, feel calmer, and experience deeper satisfaction in the present moment. Minimalism transforms the mind by slowing it down. We live in a culture addicted to speed. Fast news, fast food, fast scrolling, fast opinions. We consume more information in a day than our grandparents did in a month. But the mind, like the body, needs space to digest. Constant input creates mental congestion. Minimalism acts like a reset. It's a conscious decision to step out of the noise. When you slow down your consumption of stuff, media, and even thoughts, you give your mind room to breathe. You start noticing the world again. The sound of the wind, the warmth of light, the taste of food. Presence replaces distraction. Peace replaces noise. But this transformation doesn't happen overnight. The first step to decluttering your mind is to become aware of what fills it. What thoughts replay constantly? What worries, regrets, or comparisons clutter your peace? Our inner world often mirrors our outer one, full of things we don't need, voices that don't serve us, and stories that keep us trapped. Minimalism invites us to clean the inner space too, to notice which thoughts bring calm and which create chaos. To ask, do I need to think this right now? That awareness is the beginning of mental freedom. Another layer of minimalism's power lies in detachment. So much of our stress comes from clinging to possessions, expectations, identities, or outcomes. We hold on tightly, believing that letting go means losing control. But ironically, it's the holding on that keeps us imprisoned. When you start letting go of old clothes, unused items, or even outdated beliefs, you practice emotional release. You learn that your worth isn't tied to what you own or achieve. You start seeing possessions as tools, not trophies. This detachment doesn't make you careless, it makes you clear. You realize you don't need everything you thought you did. And in that realization, you find peace. Minimalism also changes how we experience time. When your life is cluttered, time feels scarce. You're always rushing, always behind, always trying to catch up. But once you simplify, you discover time isn't the enemy. Distraction is. By having less, you create space to slow down. You stop multitasking and start single-tasking, doing one thing fully with presence. That shift transforms ordinary moments into meaningful ones. Drinking coffee becomes meditation. Folding laundry becomes mindfulness. A walk outside becomes a gift. The less you have, the more attention you give, and attention is the root of joy. There's a quiet revolution happening within people who embrace minimalism. They're not just cleaning their homes, they're reclaiming their minds. They're realizing that happiness doesn't come from adding, but from subtracting. By letting go of excess, they gain mental clarity, creativity, and purpose. Because when your mind is free of clutter, it naturally seeks what's meaningful. You stop chasing trends and start pursuing truth. You stop performing and start being. This mental transformation creates a ripple effect. Your relationships improve, your work becomes more focused, and your inner dialogue softens. You begin to experience peace not as a fleeting moment, but as a way of being. But minimalism also asks something of you. Honesty. It requires you to face what you've been avoiding. Why do you hold on to things? Why do you overcommit? Why do you keep buying, scrolling, or saying yes? Often the clutter we see outside comes from unresolved emotions inside. Fear of loss, fear of emptiness, fear of stillness. Minimalism doesn't fix these fears, it exposes them so you can heal them. It teaches that true peace isn't found in control, but in surrender. You don't find yourself by adding layers, you find yourself by removing them. There's also a spiritual side to this simplicity. Across philosophies and faiths, the same truth appears. Peace comes from stillness, and stillness comes from simplicity. When your life is crowded with distractions, it's hard to hear your inner voice. But in quiet, you reconnect with your essence, the part of you that isn't defined by possessions or status. Minimalism becomes more than a lifestyle, it becomes a form of meditation. Every act of letting go becomes an affirmation. I have enough. I am enough. This mindset softens anxiety and deepens gratitude. You begin to see abundance not as having more, but as needing less. Minimalism even reshapes how we view success. In a cluttered world, we measure success by accumulation, more income, more followers, more recognition. But when you simplify, you start to see success differently. It's no longer about how much you have, but how lightly you can live and still feel full. You start valuing time over money, peace over prestige, and fulfillment over fame. The minimalist mind understands that success isn't about climbing higher, but about digging deeper into meaning, purpose, and peace. You realize that less stress doesn't mean less ambition, it means better direction. You're no longer chasing everything, you're choosing wisely. This transformation extends to relationships too. When you declutter your life, you become more intentional with your connections. You stop maintaining surface-level friendships that drain you, and you invest in deeper ones that nourish you. You communicate more clearly because your mind isn't divided. You listen more fully because you're not distracted. The result? Real intimacy, real connection. Minimalism creates space not just for solitude, but for love. The kind that thrives in presence, not performance. Minimalism also transforms your emotional landscape. When you stop living in chaos, your nervous system calms. Your breath deepens, your heart rate lowers. You start to experience stillness, not as boredom, but as serenity. You stop needing constant stimulation to feel alive. Instead, you find beauty in quiet mornings, simple meals, slow days. You learn to rest without guilt. You learn to enjoy without needing more. That's the paradox. When you stop seeking constant excitement, life itself becomes exciting again. Of course, embracing minimalism isn't always easy. At first, it can feel uncomfortable. The silence, the space, the absence of constant input. But soon that emptiness becomes freedom. You begin to see how much mental clutter you've been carrying, how much noise you've mistaken for meaning. And slowly, you learn to live differently. You buy less, but appreciate more. You speak less, but mean more. You plan less, but live more. The transformation is subtle but profound. A shift from reacting to creating, from rushing to resting, from surviving to being. The minimalist path isn't about perfection. It's not about white walls and one pair of shoes. It's about harmony, designing a life that feels light, purposeful, and peaceful. It's about aligning your outer world with your inner truth. You can still own things, but they no longer own you. You can still have goals, but they no longer consume you. You can still live fully, but without excess. Minimalism becomes the bridge between simplicity and peace, between doing and being. Imagine waking up in a calm, uncluttered space. You make coffee slowly. The sun touches your face. You feel grounded, not rushed. The day stretches open, not cramped. You breathe. You're not buried under your to-do list. You're present. That's what less stuff, more peace really means. Not deprivation, but liberation. It's the realization that everything you need for happiness is already here once you clear the noise. Minimalism transforms your mind by teaching you to let go of things, of stress, of the illusion that more equals better. It reminds you that peace isn't something you have to earn, it's something you uncover. Beneath the clutter, beneath the noise, peace was always waiting. Thank you for watching this video on Think Fresh Daily. If this message inspired you to simplify your life and rediscover your inner calm, please like this video, share it with someone who needs peace today, and subscribe to Think Fresh Daily for more insights on living simply, intentionally,